Hey guys, today I'm going to be installing rock lights on my side-by-side. Originally, I didn't want rock lights. I used to have Underglow on my truck when I was a teenager, and I just kind of thought I outgrew it. But then as I go on some trail rides with a big group of people, when you're riding at night and everybody has their lights on, it looks pretty cool. So I figured they're cheap enough, I'll just buy some and throw them on. It'd be a good video anyway. And also, my sister was looking for a cheap Christmas gift to get me. So I sent her these, and these were about $69. I didn't realize when I sent them to her that this kit had 10 lights, which is pretty excessive for a side-by-side. It's more for a full-size truck, but it's definitely gonna be bright. So let's get them installed. I'm gonna show you just a basic installation of the lights. I'm not gonna show you running every single wire because there's just a ton of wires to run, but I'm just gonna show you how I installed it. I got my buddy Eric here.
Hi guys.
To help me install these lights. He's the one with the green KRX that you've seen on the channel. Let's get into it. So I have my rock light kit, and I also picked up some of these clamps to mount the lights to the frame. I want to do as little drilling as possible. I don't want to cut a bunch of holes everywhere for some lights. So I'm going to try to use these clamps. They're stainless steel with like a rubber coating. I got 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches for some of the frame tubing. So hopefully those work out pretty well. I did buy a few extra clamps as well. And then I got a bunch of stainless steel bolts and lock nuts and washers to go along with it. I don't want the bolts to rust, but these were kind of expensive if you're gonna go with stainless, but I think it'll be worth it. Now I'm gonna open up the rock lights. It's made by MustWin. Must make your vehicle faster, I guess. Can't remember how many 100 horsepower it adds, but I'll look it up. Wow, there's a lot of wires involved. Let's see what we got. Oh, that looks like a lot of work. So, looks like we got our clump of lights. I should have 10 in total. They have a little pad on the back. You can put this adhesive sticky thing, but I don't think those will last for long, so we are going to bolt them down. The bolts I got to go through these holes, can't remember, I think they're 832 by 1 inch long. Looks like we got our lights, our harness. It's got a little chintzy clicky button here. Looks like we got a remote like you get with cheap LEDs. And oh, would you look at that? Got a little button to put on your key ring. That's unique. Oh, it slides. Looks like we also have like a receiver box, and the receiver box has a mosaic, so you can take a picture of it and download the app from the App Store. With this kit, you can actually control the lights with your phone through an app and change the color and change the pattern. So that's pretty cool. Looks like a lot of different extension wiring. And then some fasteners, which most of which we're probably not going to use. Comes with some extra fuses, but yeah, looks like a lot of work ahead of us. But let's get started on it. The paperwork that comes with the rock lights is a little bit lacking, I guess. There's a instruction guide of how to use the app on your phone, and this seems a bit thin for all the pieces here. Kind of explains it a little bit, but I wish there were a little bit better instructions, but we'll figure it out. We just looked over my side-by-side and got kind of an idea of everywhere that we're gonna mount one of these lights. So before we start installing them, I'm gonna put everything together and test the lights, because I don't wanna get them all together and have them not work. So I'm gonna test them before we install them. So first, I'm gonna grab this first harness piece section here. It's got the positive and negative wire, and then the plug that goes into your transmitter. It's also got this button on it. So I'm gonna plug this harness into the next section, which is the transmitter box. So I'll plug that in. And then the transmitter box is gonna go into the light harness. I found that these extra pieces here are extensions for each one of the lights. So the lights, they keep getting tangled, but the lights are all plugged in. You can't eliminate some of them or add more. It is how it is. There's 10 lights all the time. But on the harness, all the lights are exactly the same length, which seems to be about 6 foot. So now I'm gonna plug those in to the rest of my harness. It's just got this one little plug. Like that. Now I'm gonna plug it into the battery to test them. There we go. Oh, must be you gotta hit this button. Yep, there we go. See if the controller works. Yep. I'll turn them blue since that's what I'm gonna be using. Yep, looks like they're all working. Let's try some of these other functions here. Oh yeah. Flash, strobe, fade, smooth. What does the music do? Eric! 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 Alright, so they work. So now we'll get them installed. I'm gonna disconnect all 10 of these lights so it makes it easier to install them on the machine. There we go. To fasten these rock lights to my frame, I'm gonna use the clamps, put it behind the light, and then use these 832 standard bolts to go right through. I also put a washer on top to kind of displace some of that pressure so it doesn't crack any of the plastic there. So it'll go straight through there, and then use another washer and a lock nut. Then I'm gonna do that on both sides. The light kit did come with these tiny little bolts here, but they're a bit too small. I would have to use a lot of washers on my brackets here. So I just went and picked up some stainless steel bolts that fit a little better. But that's basically how we're gonna fasten them to the frame. The reason I'm using these clamps is because I don't want to drill into anything. And also, it lets me kind of clamp onto the frame, and then it lets me adjust the light so it shines just how I want it. And it's got this nice rubber padding on it, so it's not going to scratch up my frame. And if I want to take them off, I'd never notice that they were there. There is one spot that I'm going to drill some holes, but it's in a spot that you can't ever see really. We have all the lights mounted up, but we haven't hid any of the wires. They're still kind of hanging. So I have one here on this bar, one up under here shining down on my shocks, and there's one really, let's see, tucked in here to kind of give some glow to the grill area. And then the same exact thing on the other side, here, here, and way down in there. So in the back, I mounted this one here. I actually did drill into the plastic in this location because if I take it off, you're never really going to notice those two little holes. And then I also have another light here right above the shock area. And the same exact thing on the other side. Right now I'm running the wiring to all of my rock lights. I have 6 lights in the front of the YXZ, so I'm running all those wires up into here. I have them all taped up and coated so they don't get any moisture in them. I got them tucked away pretty well. It kind of looks like a rat's nest a little bit, but there's a lot of wire to hide. There's this transmitter box that I mounted over here, and I gotta run the other 4 lights from the rear of the vehicle all the way up through here. You can plug your rock lights straight into your battery, but I don't recommend that because they're on all the time and they could be sucking power, possibly. So I run from my battery, I run from the battery to a circuit breaker, and then from the circuit breaker, I run to a giant relay, and this relay is hooked into my ignition switch. So once I turn the ignition on, this relay gets power. So that's where I'm gonna hook up my rock lights to. So I'm not gonna be able to use them when my ignition's off, but I really don't care about that. I'd rather save battery than, let it sit there with lights on. In the rear, I have a rock light right here and a rock light right here, and I'm running the wire along the frame away from this coolant line, and then the wires are coming through into the cab around right here. So I am gonna have to remove the seat and then some of these dash panels to kind of hide the wire. So it's gonna be kind of a big job. All 6 of my front rock lights reach the transmitter box and wiring harness without needing any extension, but all 4 of these rear lights are gonna need an extension. They don't reach far enough. I need just a little bit more length to reach the front, so I'm gonna grab the extensions. Each extension is about, I would say, 4 foot.
Dude, I'll take these out 100 times.
All right, we took it out in the dark. We're testing the blue rock lights. Looks pretty good. I tried to aim the lights right on top of the shocks so you could see the shocks really well. If you bend down, the lights will shine right in your face. Now I'll mess with the app. Let's see. Try to change it to green. Oh yeah. Yellow. Red. Oh, that's pinkish. That's pretty cool. You can turn the brightness down. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Ooh. That is bright. That looks cool. So the app works pretty good. It's really fast actually. I'm surprised. So I have 6 rock lights in the front. You can see them if I get down like that. And then I have 4 in the back. It's pretty bright. I'm happy with it. On the app, I'm going to try the different modes. Speed. Crank it. Brightness is cranked. Let's try color jump. That's pretty cool. 7 color jump. It's real slow. One feature that I showed earlier that I didn't really do any explaining was this music button feature. So if you hit this music button, the lights will dance with any music or sound that's going on. I'll show you that feature right now. Don't judge the music. It's just some copyright-free music I found on YouTube, so I'll show you that right now. It doesn't just pick up music, it's just any loud noise will make the lights flicker. Like I can just hit on the counter right here. Just like that. So anything the microphone picks up, it'll turn on the lights. The microphone is on the on and off button. I have mine located underneath my steering wheel. I'll kind of show you where I located it. It's not the best mounting position, but I didn't want to mess with putting another rocker switch on for rock lights. The microphone's in this switch here. I'm gonna throw these 2 controllers in the glove box, but I don't think I'm gonna use them all that much. The app works just really well. There's a ton of different modes and options. It's so much better than using a controller. So I think I'm gonna try to use the app. And I even hid my on and off switch underneath my steering wheel because you can turn the lights on and off with the app, so you never really need to hit the buttons. So I plan on doing all my controlling with the app. I didn't install any rocker switch or anything. The lights they come on with the ignition, but as long as I don't hit power on my phone, they're off all the time. So that's good. Installing the rock lights in the front end was really difficult because the bolts were so hard to get to, especially way down in there. I mean, you can't even see them. They're tucked away really well. But it was so hard to get to the bolts. So a ratcheting wrench really helped out a lot. And then if you have one of these, it's just got a Phillips head and a flat head on the other side, and it works so good. I was able to get in there and hold the bolt head while I turned it with the ratcheting wrench. It works so well because I couldn't get an actual screwdriver in there. So I would definitely pick up one of these if you don't have one. Alright, that's it for the rock light install. It took us about 5 hours to get these installed and all the wires hidden. A lot of the time was spent just trying to figure out where to put the lights and what angles they needed to be on to shine the most light. I did try to hide the lights as best as I could. The YXZ has just so many holes in the front end that it was pretty impossible to get them completely hidden. It looks pretty good, but you can still see the lights from some angles when you're looking at it. But I'm happy with it. I wish it was a little bit brighter. The rock light glow underneath the machine kind of gets washed out by my light bar and mirrors, and even the chase bar in the rear. With all those lights on, you can't really tell there's anything glowing underneath. It's just, those lights are just so bright anyway. But I'm really happy with how it came out. If you enjoyed this video, maybe check out some of the other videos on the channel. We have a lot of modification videos, a lot of riding videos, just a ton of off-road content. If you like what you see on the channel, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. It'd really help us out and it keeps us motivated. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.